Welcome back to Roosters Radio. And joining us now, well, our ladies team, our NRLW team, are in a rich vein of form. And to talk more about it, well, we've got two very special guests. We've got Tiana Davison and, of course, Jasmin Strange. Ladies, on debut for Roosters Radio, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
We're
excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
3 weeks, 3 big wins. If we go back to round one, what have you learnt from that game against the Knights that you've brought into the rest of the season so far?
I think that was possibly my worst game of NRLW to date, so I'd really like to move on from that one.
Love the honesty.
Yeah, I think
you got it out straight away.
Out of the way. Love it. I think that I've genuinely just learned that I need to actually work hard to play good, because I feel like last year I kind of got by on just like a bit of natural talent, and obviously like at training we trained really hard but didn't really focus too much on the extras. And then I think there was a bit of a rude awakening in that round one game, and a lot of honest conversations with Dad where he was like, you need to work on this and this. So I've taken a lot of time, done all of those extras, and I have worked on them, and we've seen a lot of improvement from myself by rounds.
Well, hang on a sec, because both of you ladies are premiership winners. So you won the comp last year with the Knights. So are you saying that you weren't putting the effort in last year too, or it's only this season?
If you saw us at training, we were definitely putting that effort in. Yeah. But I think things like those extras and
behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes things. Like, it was a really, obviously the lifestyle in Newcastle was very chill as well. And yeah, it was just a great vibe and a great group of girls. But that footy side of things has definitely developed a lot since coming back to the Roosters.
And just away from football, so not only were your teammates up at the Knights, you've come down to Sydney playing for the Roosters, but you're also roommates. So I suppose you carpool as well. So you guys are spending a lot of time together.
Yep. Yeah, we spend lots of time together, but I think it's nice to have that off-field relationship too, and a little bit of carpool karaoke and whatnot happens in the car.
I think there needs to be a camera in our car on the way to and from, especially with
those
Samantha
reality
Economos.
TV shows.
For sure, I think there'd be a lot of laughs from that.
Well, we just heard you singing off air, so I'm not going to ask you to sing.
Tiana's a really good singer, actually. You should get her another time.
I noticed that.
Can you not?
No, but it sounds like you have a lot of fun together, which is amazing because you can take that onto the field.
Yeah.
When you play, can't you? Obviously not fun, but just the relationship you have and all the girls. Tell us a little bit about that, and off the park and on the park, how close you are.
Yeah, obviously for me, coming from the Knights to a new club, it's always daunting, but luckily I had Jazzy there along with me, and the girls were super welcoming. Like, they just open you with open arms, and like, it's cool to have that kind of relationship with the girls when they want to be around you and they want to make you feel welcome, which is really nice, and makes the transition a lot easier for me.
Yeah, I think it was really good just having that. Obviously, I've been at the Roosters before, so a lot of the faces are familiar faces, but just being able to move to Sydney, because I haven't lived in Sydney before, with Tiana, who obviously we shared a lot of experiences last year, so I think that it's been really good having that connection away from footy as well.
Yeah, because Sydney's a scary place.
Well, on that, because obviously you're from New Zealand, how did you end up here playing football for the Sydney clubs?
Yeah, so I grew up playing rugby union back home. So league wasn't really anything in my eyes, to be honest, because we didn't have any women's footy back home. And so I grew up playing union, a lot of sevens, and was lucky enough to go to the Youth Olympics with New Zealand in 2018, and we won the gold medal. So that was cool, and I kind of just got my highlights and stuff out there and was lucky enough to be picked up by the Knights. And then obviously being with Jazzy up there, was lucky enough to be picked up by the Roosters, and strangely, just made that opportunity happen for me.
And whereabouts in New Zealand were you born?
I was born in a place called New Plymouth in Taranaki, and I live in a small town called Waitara.
Oh, very good. And you mentioned that's like the closest point to Australia before.
Yeah,
so just in relevance to let us know, up on the North Island.
Yeah, in the North Island on the west coast.
Oh, beautiful.
Black sand there.
You've got a dairy farmer right here.
Oh, there you go. I married
country
a farmer,
girl.
so country girl. I'm on your level. It's fine.
That's why Sydney's so scary.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Hey, Tiana, we've just come off the back of the Olympics, watching the Sevens program over there. Did you kind of wish that you'd stuck around a little bit longer? Like, what's the feeling like when you watch girls you may have, played with or against, doing their thing on the field?
Yeah, look, obviously Sevens is a very competitive sport, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity that I had back in 2018 with the girls. And it was real cool to see some of my teammates that I played with go on and take that opportunity and play in the Olympics and win that gold medal. But I think my path was destined for something different, and obviously it's led me here, and I'm super grateful for that because the opportunities are just always growing, and I think one door closes and another opens, so I'm very grateful to be where I am today.
Girls, I want to talk about culture because, and Jazz, I'll start with you. We interview your dad regularly on the show, and he's talked about a culture change. Now, you've been at the Roosters, gone to the Knights, you've come back. What have you noticed that from a culture point of view that's changed this season from previous?
I think that the girls have just banded together really well, and I think that this is the first time I've seen real genuine grit from the Roosters girls as well, because obviously I've been in the Roosters program a long time, especially with my dad, and we're all very skilled footy players. We know that we can play footy, but it's just about us keeping ourselves in those battles when it gets really, really tough. I think defensively the middles this year have just been unreal I just think that grit is probably the main thing.
It's really funny you say that because that's the word that Stranger uses,
is
grit.
It?
Yeah, roll the sleeves up. We've selected some new players that have that grit. That's the word that he uses. So it's just fascinating to hear that. What does that actually mean to you, Tiana? What does grit mean?
Grit, yeah, honestly, like you say, roll your sleeves up and get stuck in. Get out there, rip in. For me, I got my opportunity on Sunday, and I just wanted to go out there and work for not only myself but the girls that are alongside me. If I work hard, I know that my teammate's going to work hard for me, and I always want to leave a jersey in a better place than I found it. So I hope that everyone else has that mindset, got backs all day. So yeah, just work hard for one another, not just yourself. Team first mentality.
Roosters in the NRLW are renowned for scoring points. There seems to be a focus this year on D. We've been keeping, the teams to 8, 10, 12 points. Has that been another one of the major focuses, or shifts in idea?
Yeah, we've done so much work throughout the preseason, not just on defensive policies and things like that, which I feel like we've had a big focus on in previous years, just about that mentality and line speed and actually that whacking people, not just making that good solid contact and the wrestle. I think that we've been really strong with that in previous years, but I think it's just a switch in mentality of getting off the line and actually wanting to whack people instead of just, we'll just make the tackle and do the right thing.
Yeah.
I noticed that with the defence. It seems a little bit different this year.
A bit more brutal, right?
Yeah, a bit more aggressive as well.
More aggressive. Yeah.
I think it's comes back to also working together and not fighting against each other. We've had a big emphasis on that, and defensively we just know that we have to work hard for one another.
But I must know that there's through injury and whatnot, each week the combinations have changed. So, there's been Jess was out last week, and then we've had Corbin at the start of the season. It doesn't feel like the team has actually had its 13 best players on the field at any one time because there's been an injury at training the night before or whatever. So it has been a little bit disjointed, but we're still getting the results.
Yeah, well, I don't even think that there is a best 13. I think it depends on, especially who we're versing each week, what type of team we want to go to. And I think that that's probably the most impressive thing about this squad. We have so many girls that can do such a great job. And I think that the consistency of how we've been playing, regardless of which girls are out there, is really impressive. And it's a testament to the coaching and the girls' attitude to get out there and work for each other. Because as you say, we have had quite a lot of injuries, but no one's looked out of place and everyone's able to slot into different spots, which makes it really exciting for us.
Next woman up, eh? Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Next lady up? What's the term?
Next person.
Next person.
I actually noticed it as well. And what I also noticed on the weekend, patience.
Yeah.
So obviously, the points came just towards half time, but trust. I believe patience comes with trust within each other and the process. And then is that something you've been focusing on with the defence?
Yeah, I think it's just more working for each other. I know that the girl next to me doesn't want to let them in as much as I don't want to let them in. And I think it's just about that connection with your teammates and just knowing that they've got your back, and it doesn't matter how tired you are and things like that they're going to be turning up for you. So I think that that's just the best thing that we've seen.
And from the NRLW side of things, I know when we look at the men's side, Jared is the spiritual leader of the team, and you've got Sam Walker probably leads the back line. In the women's side of things, who are the alphas? Who are the leaders within the group?
I think that this year a really important thing is there's been a bit of a shift. I don't feel like there are really those alphas, or like I think that there's so many girls in our team who are leaders, and I think that it's really inspiring for everyone, because when you're out there you're not just looking at one person, you're looking at everyone next to you, and I think that everyone has those qualities. And I think it's been really good in this year's training that everyone feels like they can speak up and everyone feels like they can have an input, and it's not just certain people. Obviously there's those girls that just go out there and whack and lead by example and things like that, but I think that it's been really positive for the Roosters NRLW this year that all of those girls feel like they have the confidence to be that person.
The reason I asked is because Amber Hall's performance on the weekend, with and without the football, but also, you know, when I watched the game, so her ability to score tries really close to the line, but there's also footwork. There's also, I think, the first try was the offload. She's doing a lot in the game, and she missed the first couple of weeks. I feel like the team rose with her. That's probably where... Is she a big personality within the playing group?
She is so funny. I don't know if you can speak to her as a forward. She's, just out there. She is actually like a beast. Like,
I know,
she can I have no idea. I think I was playing left centre outside her, and she's like, Jazz, you need to push up with me. I'm going to offload. And I'm just like, how are you going to offload? You've got 4 girls. Oh, never mind. She offloaded. So, she's amazing.
Being a front rower, cool. Tiana, well, not front rower, in the second row, or, front line. Yeah. How would you go tackling her?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm glad she's on my team.
Oh,
to be honest,
gosh.
like the first couple of weeks of training when she was on the defensive side, I remember I ran a short ball and I got it off, I think it was Joss, and Hawley just caught me. She didn't even like whack me or anything. She just caught me and I cracked from head to toe, I swear. So she's just not someone that I want to run into, and I'm very grateful to have her on my team. She leads by example by carrying those hard carries, and it's just good to have her back.
Jasmin, it'd be remiss of us not to ask, and we asked your dad this the other week on the show, the dynamic having both your father and your coach being the one person and separating the two. I mean, I coach my daughters in sport. Bells, I know you've done the same, but this is the top level. I know you don't live at home anymore, but I'm sure you probably go home for a feed every now and then. What are the conversations like, and how do you separate and distinguish between the two?
I think that I just need to give a massive props to my dad for being able to do such a good job of separating himself as a dad and as a coach. Like, I even feel a bit weird sometimes when I speak to him as a coach. It's honestly like I'm speaking to a different person, and it's not... I don't think it's super intentional, but I think that we both just have a really good relationship off the field and on the field. So I just think that, he's just amazing at separating it.
Very professional.
And obviously your brother's doing some amazing things in Canberra. So, are you guys having conversation? I mean, you're a rugby league family. So, does he... I know when the Raiders knocked the Roosters off last year, he was hopping into your dad. Are you having conversation with your brother?
I don't think Ethan really has anything to learn from me. I think Ethan's
but even feedback. Is he giving you feedback saying you should have run that line, or you shouldn't have passed, you should have thrown the dummy and went yourself, that kind of thing?
I'm not sure. I kind of just leave him to do his thing. He's a bit of a different character than I am, but I don't know. We don't even see each other too much on the coast either, because he's living in Canberra, I'm living in Sydney. There's not too much overlap there, but I'm just super proud of him and what he's doing.
Yeah,
especially
he's
for his
playing
age.
good footy.
Really good
footy.
Very democratic, very sisterly that was. I loved it.
Now, Jazz, we talked about your tattoo off air, and it's one of the most asked questions in your DMs, you said. Let us know what it means, because I noticed it on the weekend in the game as well.
Yeah, it's just writing that says when the going gets tough, the tough get it done instead of the tough get whatever.
Yep.
But it's just, my granddad that lives down the South Coast, he is probably the toughest bloke I've ever met in my life, and every time he calls me, he says something that I probably shouldn't say on this thing and just tells me to whack whatever. And so he's, I take a lot of my inspiration of how I play through him. But just when I went through doing my ACL and that rehab, that was kind of the main phrase that he would say to me. So when I actually made my debut right behind me at Allianz, actually for the Roosters, I was just took that with me, and then I decided to get it tattooed on my ACL leg afterwards.
Awesome. Tiana, do you have anything?
She's got one on her right bicep that I can see.
Yes, I can see that little tattoo there.
Oh yeah, that one there. That's my Kiwi Ferns number from when I made my debut last year, back home in New Zealand.
Yep.
179. So it's something very special.
Yep. Talk us through that. What's it like putting on the Kiwi jumper for the very first time in front of family and friends?
Yeah, look, honestly, being over here, and obviously my mum and dad been on the farm, they don't get off the farm too often because
It's
the
hard.
season, yeah, it's hard, especially when the season's like right when the cows are calving and whatnot. So I hadn't actually had anyone in the crowd, or all my family in the crowd until the grand final last year. So to have my whole family and friends back home in Auckland in the crowd was something so special. And there's no greater honour than representing your country, and I think to be able to do that on home soil, like, it just meant the world to me.
That's amazing. Now, listen, tell me, my husband's obviously from a farm as well, and he has lots of stories about growing up, not having holidays, not being able to go and do things because you're constantly working. I bet there's a fair few cows that you've had to milk in your past.
Yeah, you do it for love. But yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I think it's made me who I am today. Like, I pride myself on working hard and staying humble. And I think back to like Christmases and birthdays, there was no opening presents until the farm work was done. And, you know, rain, hail or shine, mum and dad were out there and they worked so hard to give us kids everything that we wanted, really.
It
And
makes you more appreciative, doesn't it?
I think like sometimes times were tough and they just worked so hard to make sure that we had a roof over our head and food on the table, and for that I'll be forever in debt to mum and dad. And
Well, you're
grateful.
making them super proud at the moment. I can only imagine seeing you, out on that field. So well done.
Now, girls, Sunday we take on the Titans. Another big game. What do we got to do to win?
I think we've just got to turn up as a team. Like I said before, team first mentality is something that's so important. If you work hard for the people alongside you, they're going to want to work hard for you too. And I think just hard work and grit.
Yeah, I think just trusting like all of the work that we've put in, and like Tiana said, just turning up with that right mentality. I think it's all about our mentality because we know that we can play footy. We've done the work to be able to defend. So yeah, just turning up like we want to win.
Well, girls, on behalf of all Roosters fans, we're loving the style of football you're playing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're winning, and we're all big fans. I got to say, like, it's the style, it's the grit that you talk about. So good luck on Sunday, and we look forward to talking to more of your teammates throughout the season. Well done.
Beautiful. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Thanks so
us.
much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.